Hello, everyone, and welcome to our live session again. This is Mohamed Karmous, CEO of QMK Consulting, and I'm happy to be with you again. I hope you really enjoyed our last session and it benefited you and your business. In our previous session, we explored the challenges of managing labor costs and cash flow. But today on this session, we're gonna have dive deeper into one of the most technical and critical aspects of restaurants management, which is controlling food cost and optimizing inventory. I know a lot of people, reach out to me, restaurants owners, that they struggle on how to control their restaurant cost and how to control and manage their inventory in a better, efficient way. So restaurants operate on razor thin margins, with food costs often like accounting for 20 to 35% depending on the type of your restaurants. So 20 to 35% of the total cost. Behind these numbers lies a maze of inefficiencies. And I'm pretty sure a lot of chefs in the kitchen, a lot of restaurant owners, they understand what I'm talking about. So from over ordering, spoilage, inconsistent portioning, and supply chain disruptions, that can silently erode your profitability. To make today's session as practical and relatable as possible to you, um, I would love to share a story about one of my favorite clients, like Tony. Tony is a passionate pizza maker who turned his love for pizza into a thriving business. So Tony's journey, especially in crafting his signature, the margarita pizza, perfectly illustrates how applying smart strategies with the help of the right software can dramatically improve both food cost control and inventory management. All right, so let's dive right in. Okay, so we're gonna start with the first strategy. So when Tony started, taking a look about what is the most thing that is killing his profitability, he found out that there's a lot of waste happening in the restaurant. So one of the things that he started with, the first thing that he went to implement is setting up a policy for inventory management and control. All right. So how is that possible, and how can we do that? So even the best systems need a solid policies. To ensure consistency and accuracy, Tony recognized that having a structured approach to inventory management was essential. All right. So for controlling food costs, instead of relying solely on sporadic audits, no, he implemented a formal written inventory policy and established a routine of regular inventory counting. So this is something very important as an accountant. If I'm working with someone that has a regular inventory count, has a policy for his inventory, it's going to make my life so much easier when I'm preparing his reports or counting his inventory. So it reduces a lot of the workload, and at the same time it help us to create a better report that will streamline everything for you at the end. So how did he do that? How did he implement the policies? This is what we're gonna discuss right now. So the first thing, writing the inventory policy is very simple. You just need to sit with yourself and see what is the thing that you need to control. So I'm gonna go back again to Tony's example. So he started documenting detailed procedures for every step of his inventory process. For instance, his policy specified that at the start of each shift, kitchen staff must record the remaining quantities of key ingredients. For example, like basils, tomatoes, mozzarella, and flour using a standardized log. Okay, so one day during a routine review, Tony's written policy helped him identify that his staff wasn't logging the basil, so usage they weren't logging the basil usage consistently during peak hours. And once this was documented, he was able to train his team on the correct procedure, ensuring data accuracy and reducing errors, of course. So the second thing is regular inventory count. Now you have a written policy, everyone understand it from your team. The second thing we're going to do is having a regular count to enforce that policy. So rather than waiting for a once a month count, Tony instituted a cycle counting system. He divided his inventory into categories, such as produce, dairy, and dry goods, and scheduled counts throughout the week. For example, on Monday mornings, he performed a detailed count of fresh produce. During uh, and during one Monday audit, he discovered 10% discrepancy in his tomato stock. So this early detection allowed him to investigate and discover that some tomatoes were being miscounted during a busy lunch rush. So adjusting the count process can help you prevent further losses and ensure that, like your order quantities were precise. So, and this is one of the most important thing because, like there's a waste between one meal, if you're doing a margarita pizza, like there's definitely one pizza that you're gonna do it with the same ingredients. The other pizza you're gonna waste a little bit more. So having the exact ingredients and having a precise um, like log that you're working on to manage your inventory is gonna help a lot. So the last thing, which is very important, is sharing this information with your accountants. If you have a written policy or are doing a physical count, the last thing you're going to do is send this report to your accountant so we can make sure, like we establish these clear policies and routines and maintain accurate inventory records. All right. So this is for the first one, the setting up the policy and having a management and control system. All right. So the second one is investing in a robust inventory management system, which is very, very common. I know a lot of restaurant owners understand exactly, and they are familiar with many of the softwares. Whether you're using Toast or Squares, there's a built-in system that can help you manage your inventory. Like there's many software in the market that can help you do that. And if you are a big restaurant with a bigger inventory, there is other systems that can help you like can be integrated with your current POS system, to help you manage your inventory in a better way. Okay, so we're gonna go back again, like in discussing in this point, there's three important things that you need to be aware of. Okay, so and this is one of the thing that, going back to our example again, Tony, he like he took advantage of this points. He took advantage of this softwares to help increase his efficiency. So, what the first thing is real-time tracking. Okay, so I used MarketMan and Toast because it's very common. A lot of restaurant owners they use it, and you're familiar with it. But there is many software in the market that can do that. Okay, so when you have a real-time tracking, and I'm gonna tell you exactly how to implement that. So a real-time tracking is whenever you use any, like you add any meal or you're in preparation for any meal, it starts reducing from the inventory count. So in the first point we discussed that you're going to have an inventory count. So now you know exactly how many ingredients you have, how many inventory you have. So when you start having a real-time tracking system, so this software is going to help you, like to understand if you have like a low stock or a higher stock, so you can be proactive in your inventory management, right? So and this is exactly what Tony did. Like he opted for MarketMan to handle his inventory management and Toast POS for sales transaction and recording, but MarketMan allowed him to track every ingredient, whether it was pounds of premium mozzarella, fresh basil, the vine ripened tomatoes, or the flour used for his dough. like right down to the exact quantities. For, and there's an example that one busy evening, MarketMan alerted Tony that his basil stock was running low. This timely alert enabled him to reorder basil immediately, preventing any disruption in the preparation of his signature margarita pizza and avoiding last minute rush orders that could drive up cost. Okay. So the second thing is automation and alerts. Okay. So, you taking advantage right now, the technology, is way ahead, especially in the restaurant field. You can take advantage of many softwares. Like if you can have integration between your inventory software and your POS system, it can help you, stay ahead of time. And if whenever you see a low stock, you will be alerted and you will be able to adjust for that. Okay. So when we have this software in place, it will also help your cost accountant, to be able to set up better strategies, better costing system for you. Like for example, if you're using standard costing or not, this is something that can be implemented. So if you have uh major spoilage in your in your kitchen, having a standard cost accounting system, it will be able to help you create a per recipe cost so you can understand how much each meal is costing you. I'm pretty sure a lot of restaurant owners, they know that they do this in the back of their mind. But when you go down and break down all the expenses, you will find a lot of hidden expenses that you might not be aware of. And this is what having this system in place, having this software to track the trends, to track the historical records, will show you where what's going wrong in your kitchen. All right. So now we're gonna move to the third point. Okay, so our third strategy here is streamlining your menu. And this is an advice, I've given to many restaurants that they wanted to go on the franchise pass. Because, let's take for example, there is many, franchises that you can see. They have a very limited items on their menu. Okay, and why is that? Because when you have, like when you have many items on your menu, this means many ingredients that you need to keep account for. You need to have control for. This increases the cost on you. So, and this is the first point, so that's why I call it the fewer the better. This is my motto for this strategy, and this is what Tony, implemented exactly. He didn't have too many options on his menu, but the option that he had, they was better quality. He was delivering them on time. He never went out on inventory, and this is what's very important in this field. And in the restaurant industry, consistency is the key to success. You want to make sure when your client order the pizza anytime, he will find it with the same quality. He will find it with the same taste. It's not gonna change or it's not gonna run out because this leaves a very negative impact and it pushed them to go to another competitor who is a more available. So a sprawling menu can lead to a chaos in the kitchen, waste in the pantry and ultimately increased food cost. So, like streamlining this menu, the menu can simplify operation, reduce waste, boost profitability, and all while still delivering high quality dishes. Okay, so the consolidation of ingredients, it can make, I'm gonna go refer back again to Tony. You know, he was able to analyze his menu, discover that several dishes, particularly different types of pizzas and salads, were using nearly identical ingredients such as mozzarella, basil, and tomatoes. By consolidating these items into a focused selection of core dishes, he reduced ingredients redundancy. So, for example, rather than offering three similar pizzas, Like Tony opted to highlight one signature margherita pizza alongside a few complementary options. So this decision not only cut down a waste, but also allowed for better bulk purchasing, saving him both time and money. All right. So on the second point here is cost benefit analysis. So what does that mean? Another key insight came from evaluating the profitability of each menu item. Okay, so you will start noticing that one specialty dish is suffering from low margins because it relied on expensive imported cheese. By switching to a more cost-effective alternative, it will help you, like still deliver a great flavor, but at the same time improve the dish's profitability because like I said in the beginning, like if you're running on a very razor thin margin, you want to make sure that your cost is controlled. Otherwise, you might not, like you would be shocked, like to find that you're losing on most of the dishes that you're delivering, like because of the waste mainly. So, and this is one of the thing that with cost analysis, like, and this can something be implemented by your accountant, and we do it very well in QMK, which is we like we were able to break down every item on your menu by ingredients, and we tell you exactly how much does it cost and how much it should be compared to market prices. All right. So with these 2 points together, once you consolidate your menu items, to have consolidation or concentration of certain ingredients, you'll be able to have better control on them. Will be able to analyze their cost and at the same time increase the operational efficiency. Because imagine now if you're serving, like instead of 20 items, you're going to go down to 10. Okay, these 10 items, you're going to have better control. Your staff will learn them and perfect these recipes better over time. And over time, you will be able to deliver them even faster. So and that's a key why like almost most of restaurants franchises, they tend to like lower their menu size because they want to specialize in certain signatures and sell more quantity out of it and faster way. Like McDonald's is one key. Like he's a fast food. I'm not gonna compare it to many restaurant, but I'm saying that like the main key for their success is the speed. They want to make sure that they get everything out in a certain was, and their process is mainly concentrated and built around that. So it all starts from the kitchen. Like what makes one restaurant more successful than the other is the like the code that you live by in the kitchen. If your whole goal is speed, like and you're gonna maintain or focus your strengths on speed only, then everything should serve to that purpose. If your whole goal is quality, it's a different pathway, and everything, like you will be able to see what is your key strengths when you analyze like your numbers. And this is something that streamlining your menu is going to help you to do. So now going back to uh, our strategies. So the fourth strategy is standard costing and secret recipe. Okay, this one I really love because now we streamlined our menus. We were able to see a lot, improvement in like in our cost. We are now seeing fewer items that we have better control on them. So you will be able to like right now elevate the system that you are using. So if you are having, let's say, per cost, like per recipe cost, you can switch to standard costing, which is can help in increasing the quality of your the quality and like of your recipes and the quality of your meals as well. So going back to Tony again, so Tony's secret to consistent quality and controlled cost lies in standardizing his recipes and keeping his signature methods confidential. So by doing so, he like he did not only deliver a reliable product every time, but also maintains a competitive edge. So and this is and like and the first thing that we did is he standardized recipes for consistency. So once you start standardizing the recipes, like it's going to help again increase the efficiency. And the second thing is it's going to help with the cost control, like because now you know exactly um how much every item on the menu cost you. Okay, so and the last thing is protecting a competitive edge because now this is my margin on the pizza, this is my margin on the salad, this is my margin on the pasta. You will be able to maintain that and at the same time stay in a competitive uh in a competitive range. All right. So the most important thing is if you found any fluctuation going in like in your sales, you started seeing your sales going down for some reason, you will be able to analyze that based on data. Like so you have right now a system in place that generates certain reports. You have a physical count happening. You have fewer items on your menu to for better control. So now all the data, like anything that or any adjustment that you're going to do in the future is going to be data driven. And this is very important. You're not going to take your decisions based on a whim or because you had like a slow season or a slow weekend. No, you will be able to do it based on uh, the data that you have on every item and on every on your inventory volume level. Okay, so now we're gonna move to point number 5, which is training your staff and your kitchen team on the new system. Okay, so now we have a system in place. We streamlined our menu. We standardized our costing. The second thing we're gonna do is uh, training our team on the first thing is standardizing the portions. Okay, so we can follow the policy that we set. We can follow the standard costing and the that we set in place, so we can have a better control. So with that, like it's gonna take time, but this will help reduce the waste a lot because a lot of staff or a lot of kitchen staff, they don't understand like your costings. They don't understand that if you put more tomatoes on the pizza, you're losing. Like if you put more mozzarella cheese on the pizza, you're losing. So this is something that you need to train, like, and when you have fewer items on the menu, you will be able to master and help them master like the preparation of this for every meal, which will help you reduce the waste. Okay, so standardizing the portions, like staff training and waste tracking. So whenever there is, like any waste tracking, there's a very good software that I really recommend. It's called Chef. Extra Chef. It's all connected together. So this software it did miracles for many of my clients. Like we worked with them, we were able to track exactly where's the waste coming from. If there is, like and some of the restaurants that we are working with that we were able to reduce their waste by around 18%, which is a very, very high percentage. Like, and this is something that will definitely have an effect on your bottom line. All right. So, and the sixth strategy is building a strong data-driven supplier relation. So, I mentioned that in the last session that your relationship with your supplier is very, very important. Okay, so Your suppliers are not just vendors, they are critical partners in your restaurant success. So you need to leverage the data and proactive communication to build strong relationship with your suppliers. You know, like because when you have a good relationship with your suppliers, this means that you're gonna have consistent food quality. You know, like you're gonna have consistent delivery, and at the same time, and over time, you'll be able also to get better offers with them. Okay, so like one of the most important thing is we can use a data-driven approach, like using systems like Toast, POS, or Restaurants 365, to track the ingredients usage and identify trends. So for instance, when data reveals, let's say 30% increase in demand for like your signature dish during a local festival, like you can use this information to approach your mozzarella supplier and let them know that, during this time, I need more, like mozzarella. I'm gonna, like, and in this case, you will be able to anticipate for the boost for the spikes in your sales, and at the same time this will reflect on managing the like reordering point. So the second thing is negotiation or leverage. So with clear consumption data, you will be able to negotiate discounts on bulk orders. All right. Because now, during the summer, I'm going to have more clients, and this, instead of ordering like 10 boxes of pasta, I'm going to order 20. So you can use that in your negotiation, like so you can have a reduced pricing during the low seasons and high pricing during the high season. Like not high pricing, I'm sorry. I mean getting a better pricing since you're going to order more. So like a lot of restaurant owners, they don't build this good relation with their suppliers. They just, and especially when you deal with someone who is bigger than you in size, like I mentioned that also in the last session, you need to find a supplier who is at the same size as you. So they will be more lenient and flexible to give you better offer, to give you better flexible payment schedule so you can manage your cash flow in a better way. And at the same time, make sure that you are always like have everything in stock, and you need especially the high quality ingredients that you're using for your signature dishes. All right, so partnership building, which is very important, like you need to make sure that when you are talking with your supplier, you're not just like he's not just a vendor that you're buying from and call it a day. No, you need to try to like have like some sort of a partnership agreement with them, and so they can feel like you're trying to build a long-term relationship, not a short-term relationship. And especially if this supplier is a key factor in your quality, like so if your main supplier or the main suppliers that you're using to like for to get fresh ingredients or to get like your quality ingredients, you need to make sure that you approach them with a better deal. Try to tell them that like you're going to increase or pay in bulks for certain seasons, like so you can manage as well, like if this relationship with them, because we were able to help restaurants reduce the payment and like or increase the terms of the policy with their vendors, based on the spikes in their sales. So in the summer they are doing like very good, and they don't have a problem to pay in bulks than to pay everything up front. So we were paying during the peak time, which didn't create any problem for them. And during the slow time, like during the winter or during the fall, there like we were able to have a more flexible schedule with their vendors. And this is one thing that is very important. You need to find where what is the best time for you to give this money out, so you can also like manage the expectation from your vendor, because some vendors they expect that you are making money across the whole year with the same consistency. You need to explain to them that it's not the case. Like there's sometimes that I'm doing well, and this times I'm gonna be able to pay you. There's other times that we need to work together, like, and to have a better flexible time. And this is something that you can definitely strike with your vendors, and we can help with that. So the seventh strategy is monitoring and adjust continuously. Now you have all the data. You establish the policies. You control the cost. You have someone to enforce and do physical counts. You train your staff to do it. You need to keep monitoring and adjusting continuously as you grow. And this is something that like I always like push every wrestling. You might be doing very well, but if you don't monitor and adjust, you are not adapting to the fluctuation of the market. Sometimes you might be doing well, but you don't understand what's happening. My margin is going, like lower, until you sit down, you start tracking the numbers. And this is one of the things that I always, you push every restaurant. If you're not having a bookkeeper in place, if you're not having someone who can help you with this CFO level services, like to start doing that for this main purpose, the real time monitoring. Like many times we lose opportunities that come in front, like to us because we're not ready for it. But when you have a system in place that provides you this real time monitoring, you will be able to rely on real-time dashboards, like provided by systems like Toast, Caviar, Restaurant, 365, whichever app you're using. But this dashboard can, we can use it and track like and create KPIs, such as food cost percentages, waste levels, inventory turnovers. For instance, like if one day, like you start, like if when you go on this dashboard, you will be able to understand, like exactly if your restaurant is doing okay or not. Okay, so this is the benefit of having a real time monitoring. All right. So the second thing is adjusting to rising costs. Like, and we are in a, like in a market that is vulnerable to inflation, and every second right now there's a spike, and there's a price hike that happens. So when you have a dashboard that can immediately alert you, rather than waiting for the next monthly review, like you will be, taking decision faster. You will be ahead of the curve. You will be more competitive because you know what to do right now, not by the end of the month when the report is ready for you. So, and acting on information, will help you adjust order quantities, renegotiate delivery terms with your suppliers, and in result, it will help you keep your overall food cost percentage within, like a proper range. So, like this is very, very important. Like you need to make sure that you have a system in place that empower you to take decisions, and to take, like data-driven decisions on a timely manner. Because if you receive the data at a time that is not, like viable for you, or it's not, like you don't need it anymore, then there is no need for the preparation of that data. Like so this is one of the thing, like that we learned in accounting, the cost constraints principle. Like so if the cost of preparing the information, like is less than the value of getting this information, or the usage that you're going to get from this information, then there's no need to do it. And I always advise my clients to, having a system in place that always generates this report for you. even if you don't have an accountant, just going on your POS system and checking, this is the least you should do. But uh, going the extra mile, if you're a big restaurant or a growing restaurant, you want to go on the track for franchises, to franchise your restaurant, it's very, very important that you start implementing these systems right now because let's take the franchising model for example. To be a franchise, you want to build a successful model, right? You want to create something that people will come later on and buy it from you. So, and to be able to do that, you will need to set up a system that like alert you when things goes wrong. Like to alert you if you have inefficiency in one of your operation, in your kitchen, in like in your cost control. So this is what makes one restaurant excel or better than the other. So the information and knowledge is power. And if you use that to your advantage, it will definitely help you. And finally, having a proactive reviews and adjustments. So when you review your KPIs, like this is like not this is not just enough. Like you need to make sure that you get a professional opinion on that. Okay, so you need to have a monthly KPI session, a review with your CFO, with your cost accountant to analyze the trends. Okay, because you might understand the information and the numbers in a way, but when you have a professional point of view or a professional opinion, they can use this number and give you even a better opinion on it and tell you if this number, because sometimes you can, understand or see that it's bad. You saw that your gross profit margin went down, like, but you didn't know what is the reason, like, so you need someone to analyze these numbers and tell you exactly why the gross margin went down. What happened? Like maybe your sales went up, but at the same time your cost, like went up with it. And this because there was a spoilage or there was a waste that happened was like increasing volume in your operation. And this is something that you will be able to understand when you have a proper system in place and someone to monitor it and then get a professional opinion on that. Okay, so this regular review process, like it will help you to make responsive adjustments and to tweak portion size, changing supplier contracts to maintain profitability. So by continuously monitoring your operation and making timely adjustments, you will ensure that rising costs do not catch you off guard. So, and this proactive approach minimizes waste, maintains consistent quality, and ultimately protects profit margins. So, even when external costs are on the rise, you will still be ahead of the curve because you know what to do next. All right. So, the final pro tip is keep your operational dashboard visible during service. When your team sees periodic metrics, both financial and non-financial, like food cost percentages, waste figures, and customer satisfaction, it fosters accountability and it drives proactive adjustments. So always follow up with your managers, like we on a weekly basis to ensure everyone remains aligned and focused on cost efficiency. It all starts from cost control. When you start setting up the process in place, you start having a system where your employees, your staff can see it. They will be able to understand, oh, I did a mistake here. Like I'm wasting more ingredient on this meal than I should. And they will be able to understand right away and get better and move on and improve, like, and try to improve. All right. So to recap, managing food cost and optimizing inventory isn't just an operational necessity. It's a strategic initiative that can transform your restaurant's financial health. And by implementing these 7 strategies, from advanced inventory systems like MarketMan integrated with toasted POS, for example, regular cycle counts, a streamlined menu, rigorous staff training, data-driven supplier relationship dash, standardized costing with your secret recipe and continuous monitoring. You build a robust framework that minimizes waste and maximizes profitability. So every dollar saved on inefficiencies is a dollar that can be invested in creating exceptional dining experiences for your customers. If you are ready to elevate your restaurant's financial performance and see results similar to Tony's success, I invite you to take the next step and let's book a free profit and cash flow analysis session today. And let's work together to tailor the strategies to your unique operation and uncover hidden savings that will boost your bottom line. So, thank you so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate your time and attention, and I look forward to continuing this journey with you as we explore more ways to optimize and grow your business. I hope Tony's story inspired you to take control of your restaurant finances. So I wish you all a wonderful day and see you next week. Thank you.